Chairman Scott and Ranking Member Warren, thank you for inviting me to testify before the committee today. As a public policy think tank dedicated to improving the lives of all Americans, the Century Foundation has been acutely focused on how rising costs are affecting working families. While President Trump is calling affordability a hoax or a fake word and confessing that he does not think about Americans' financial situations, families are dealing every single day with the cost of living crisis that Donald Trump promised he would fix. From his first days in office, President Trump has gone back on his campaign promises, layering one price hike on top of another. Starting on so-called Liberation Day last April, the Trump administration set off a series of tariffs that have cost American consumers an average of about $1,700, increasing prices on a wide variety of must-have items, from groceries, clothing, and school supplies to building materials and electronics. The Trump administration and Republicans in Congress then pushed through massive tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans, paid for by increasing the cost of healthcare, higher education, energy, and food for ordinary families. While the wealthiest Americans got a boost, those tax cuts for the ultra-rich cost the lowest income families about $1,200 a year. In fact, any benefits that average families may have seen from Trump's tax plan were completely wiped out by a war with Iran that is keeping gas prices at nearly $4 per gallon and has cost families an estimated $100 billion to date. On the Trump administration's watch, some of the biggest expenses for ordinary families have become even less affordable. New car prices hit record highs, health insurance premiums have spiked, home prices rose again this last year, and rent and mortgage payments both remain alarmingly high. And prices are only one side of the equation on affordability, wages are the other. Since returning to office, the president has directly cut the wages for home health workers and farm workers, wreaked havoc on the agencies responsible for ensuring that workers can exercise their rights, and in 2025 ushered in the worst year of job growth since 2020. The cumulative impact of these policies has been disastrous for working families. Our research shows that half of Americans report skimping on healthcare services or taking on debt to deal with their rising healthcare costs. Half have had to tap into savings to meet their day-to-day expenses. In one survey, 1 in 3 respondents reported that they or someone in their household has skipped meals to save money in the past year. Americans are increasingly forced to use debt to make ends meet, but high-cost loans are pushing families further over the edge. Outstanding credit card balances stand at around $1.25 trillion, with delinquency rates of more than 13%, the highest level since the Great Recession. Student loan delinquencies have also shot up under the Trump administration from nearly 0 to about 25%. Auto debt has exploded, bankruptcy filings increased almost 12% between 2025 and 2026. Home foreclosure filings are up 26% from the last year and are the highest they've been since 2020. This mountain of debt adds a new dimension to the affordability crisis. Driving down the prices of individual goods and services won't fully alleviate the pain that families are feeling or the drag it places on the economy. Lower gas prices next week don't mean all that much when you're still paying off your price at the pump from the last week or last month's groceries at a 24% interest rate. Not everyone is losing in the Trump economy, however. The Trump administration has engaged in a relentless, corrupt agenda of self-enrichment, deregulation, corporate pardons, and sweetheart deals for the wealthy and the well-connected. Some of the beneficiaries are represented here in this room, like the banks that continue to derive excess profits from overdraft and credit card late fees that cost consumers $15 billion a year. This committee has the power to advance legislation that would help save Americans billions of dollars. I applaud you all for starting with housing, an area of critical need, and I saw this morning that Senator Warren and Senator Moreno are working to save Social Security as well. But with 110 million Americans unable to pay off their credit card balances each month and banks tucking massive profits into historically high interest rates, there is much more to be done. The affordability crisis is not a hoax. It's a backbreaking reality for the vast majority of Americans. This committee must take action to address it, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.